Welcome to Reread. I have a fun one to review for you today. It is Dark Empire, the original Dark Horse 6-issue series written by Tom Veitch and drawn by Cam Kennedy. This is one of the early things I first read. I think shortly before I read Kevin J. Anderson's Jedi Academy trilogy, I'd read like a few books and had always known about these, and finally found out they're going to be part of the canon and read them immediately. Now, my first time through was excellent. My reread this time was still excellent. It's still a good series. Again, no one draws like Cam Kennedy. He's so unique. I think one of the reasons at first, there's a few things I didn't like about it. I think it's the color scheme. How it's like splash of, everyone's faded in green, or everyone's shaded in pink or yellow or orange. I didn't really get that. But I guess the way that he draws, that was the best way to kind of focus on the artwork or present the art, I guess. Either way, I've gotten used to it now, and I do really enjoy it. Now, there's a lot going on here. First off, Luke has an awesome scene that I remember where he takes down an AT-AT. I remember reading that for the first time going, that's really cool. Later on, and through the first half of the series, he's without a hand because the Emperor, when he finds out the Emperor's reborn, he kneels before him. The Emperor takes off his hand to get a new hand. And I don't know why that was. They never explained it in the comic book either. But I thought that was kind of weird. But there's these force storms that the Emperor can conjure. In fact, that's how he'll be defeated. He'll be conjuring up another force storm. And now this time Luke knows enough to say, hey, he has trouble focusing and controlling that. So he and Leia team up and, kind of throw his force storm, I guess, out of control. And it kills the Emperor. We find out the Emperor's been doing clones. A way to skip to the ending there, right? Anyway, we find out the Emperor has been cloning himself, which kind of makes sense. I like how Timothy Zahn dogged on, a cloned Emperor, even though he cloned Luke Skywalker. I don't know. But the clone Emperor makes sense because he's trying ways to cheat death. That's what he ultimately wants to do. And remember, he conferred with George Lucas on this, and George Lucas okayed it. But either way, though, I have no problem with it. I thought it was really good. Of course, the Emperor knows that Luke is trying to betray him. The big bad destruction of machines are the World Devastators this round. I don't feel they're that big a deal. You need several of them to just slowly destroy a planet. And of course, they're going after Mon Calamari. Man, that place can't, get any breaks from the Empire. But the Emperor knows that Luke is trying to work against him to kind of shut down the World Devastators. However, Luke outthinks him, and they actually are successful, thanks to the help of R2, who makes a few adjustments of shutting down all the World Devastators. Now, Admiral Ackbar calls these Devastators worse than the Death Star. I don't think they're worse than the Death Star, but yes, they are a big threat. And of course, it could be that Admiral Ackbar is just, speaking real big to show the urgency of the situation. Now, Leia is kind of powerful in the Force here. I say that because she does ignite her lightsaber a few times. She battles Luke, even though you could say Luke is holding back because she's going after her brother because she doesn't think he belongs over to the dark side. And of course, as we know later on, as Del Rey will show us, this is a very pivotal point for Luke because from here on out, he'll be so afraid because he's tasted what power is like, how to control people, and he's seen the temptation of the dark side. And so now, from here on out, he's going to be extra careful not to even get near that line, which causes a bunch of hesitancy from Luke. It's a brilliant thing that Del Rey would figure out later, but right now, it's just Luke dancing on the edge. Kind of how Jason did, right? He wanted to understand the dark side, to do some good. That's exactly what Luke was thinking. Now I got to go back and check out Legacy of the Force. Did Luke ever make that analogy with Jason? I wonder if he ever told Jason that. If he did, I just don't remember it. But still, it was kind of neat. Now, Leia encounters Vima de Buddha. We don't know who she is yet. We'll find out later. But it's just Vima. Vima knows Jedi. And she kind of sees him, gives Leia, I believe, a lightsaber, and then disappears. Of course, this is where Han finds out that Boba Fett's alive. He's the last person in the galaxy to find out Boba Fett's alive at this point. Again, I really wish they had just kept Boba Fett on the low key, had him do nothing, and then reveal himself in Dark Empire, and then we would see a bunch of adventures with him. But such was not the case. General Jan Dodonna is in it. It kind of makes me wonder if Rogue Squadron, if Michael Stackpole meant to do that, to kind of match up with Dark Empire, say, okay, how is Jan Dodonna even alive? Since he just got killed in the Marvel comic books, which at the point weren't full canon, I don't think. But either way, he's in it, and everyone has re-enlisted in the army. It's General Calrissian throughout the whole thing. I mean, he's back in it. They call General Solo once, so it may have been a slip up. And Mon Mothma calls Luke Commander Skywalker once. So again, it might have been a slip up. But General Antilles is mentioned. So again, I think Issarad's Revenge was meant to kind of give, not a retcon, but kind of explain to you when he got his title of general. But General Calrissian, I hope, and I don't think anyone ever says this, why did Lando re-enlist? He is obviously with the New Republic as a general. They say that so many times in this. And I think he's in that for the rest of the Dark Empire trilogy. But either way, it's kind of funny how these people who left the military, at least Lando, is now looped back in. Now you could say, yes, the extra threat of the Emperor or the ramped up Empire with them taking over Coruscant again, retaking Coruscant, maybe got Lando to re-enlist. That could be the case. But oh, I should also mention that the twins are mentioned here, that they have twins. They rarely get to see them, but you know, they do have twins. And of course, it's revealed that she is pregnant. The Emperor knows that there's a life inside her. And I guess Han finds out later on, after the Emperor knows. So, surprise, Han! Another interesting thing that I recall in this one is Luke did his force projection of himself to make Leia think that they were all leaving together, even though Luke still had some work to do undercover against the Emperor. Meaning to stop him from transferring his essence from one body to the next. So he uses a force projection of himself that disappears off the ship once they take off. You know, he was never there to begin with, which is something that Luke would later do with Jason back in Legacy of the Force, which I thought was kind of neat. Now, another thing I should say is, you know, in Children of the Jedi, there's so much hate from people about Callista transferring her essence into someone. It's so stupid. I want to say, were the same people who say they hate Dark Empire too? Because that's exactly what Palpatine's talking about doing. And I guess you don't like Truce of Pecora either, because they're transferring essence into machines too. I don't know. It's just a common, you know, thing that we've seen in the expanding universe, and they don't shy away from it. There's several examples of it. One of the first things we saw in Dark Empire, publication-wise, not timeline-wise, but was a holocron, which we've seen if we're reading in chronological order. But in publication order, we just saw what a holocron can do, and it's an image of, oh, I can't think of his name, Ood Vuduvas or whatever. I can't remember his name. I don't care right now. But either way, so Leia has the holocron. She's going to study it. Later on, this holocron is, of course, going to come back and help them out throughout all the Dark Empire adventures. But there's a lot of firsts here. I like the art. I like the style. It's very unique. Just like Tales of the Jedi, Dark Empire has its own unique feel. The way that people dress, the way they look. They start wearing these little hats with caps that cover their ears. A lot of people do, which they never do anywhere else. Luke, for the last time, is wearing this grand black, all black robe and everything. Now later on he would switch to brown, but at this point, even in Return of the Jedi to here, he was still switching on and off and wearing black. But even his little style there is different. Everyone's style is so different in Dark Empire, but it makes it very unique too, and I love it. I still love Dark Empire. I think it's great. I love how all these other people hated on Dark Empire. The worst thing about the expanded universe, because a cloned Emperor is stupid. And then those idiots at Screen Rant are going, let's just delete that, because ever since episode 9 came out, they don't want to talk about how stupid Dark Empire was. But I love Dark Empire. I think it's an excellent comic book. Is it a place to start? No, I don't think so. I think you'll be too lost, even though it was kind of the, you know, in a way, just like Timothy Zahn's books kind of re-energized the EU, comic book wise, that was Dark Empire. But I don't know if I'd tell someone to start there unless they really like comic books and they want to see Luke, and I mean, maybe I would. I don't know. Anyway, folks, that's it for now. See you next time.